what kind of things that you need to carry for Ladakh, what are the routes that you need to plan for the Ladakh, where to stay, where to eat. I have seen all these kind of videos, but I have not seen any kind of video that what kind of problems that you are going to face. So I just wanted to tell you those kind of things because I have completed Ladakh and I wanted to share my experience. I have divided this video into three categories. One is ride, the second is safety, the third is gear. Okay, so I will tell each and every part according to these subtopics. So I hope you will understand little bit more about what are the problems that one will face in the Ladakh, because these all are the problems which I have faced in Ladakh. So coming to the first topic in this, which is ride, I would like to say that this is something specific to motorcycle, because I own a Royal Enfield Himalayan, so it may be something different for you. I would like to address, while I was coming from Ladakh, my front ABS wire was got cutted into two pieces. So I have no other option with me, and what I can do, I cannot do anything because my front brake was not functioning and I was only reliable on rear brake. So somehow I need to do that, and when I went to Royal Enfield showroom, then they said that the entire ABS kit has to be replaced, the entire wiring set has to be replaced, both front end wire, and the old one can be like scrapped, that's it. So if your bike is under warranty, then you are well and good. If not, then you should be like ready to pay around 6 to 7,000 rupees. Okay, so this is first issue. The second issue is fuel cap. So while I was in Leh, I was refueling the petrol, and what was happened is I have not noticed that the guy who was refilling, he have overfilled the tank. So what has happened, actually the fuel was popping out. Means when I started the engine, I have not noticed it at that time. I was on the way, then I felt like some kind of petrol smell is coming. I don't know what, I watched here and there, I don't see anything. But when I saw that my pants were wet, then I realized that, oh shit, the petrol is like coming out of my tank only. Then I removed the tank bag and I saw everything. The tank bag is on completely wet with petrol, and the fuel is like popping up like this, like popping up so much, and it was on my foot and it was on the engine. So this thing you need to please keep in mind, because as it is a petrol and it does not need much more time to lighten up, you know, right, what petrol can do. After then I thought that this is the problem because the fuel was coming out and because I have overfilled it. But no, that is not the problem. Actually the problem was with the key which locks the fuel cap. So there was some gap, or I don't know what kind of issue was that, but the fuel was coming out later once I completed Ladakh and I came back to Bangalore and all. So even then also I was facing that issue. What Royal Enfield asked me is to shoot a video showing the odometer, then same video has to be continued by showing how the fuel is popping out. Then again you need to move the same video up till the chassis number. So once you show all these details, means once you show this video, this complete video, then what Royal Enfield people will do, they will replace the entire key set. Means your handle lock key would be changed, your fuel cap key would be changed, as well as the rear seat key would be also changed. Okay, so this issues are something bike specific, my specific bike related. So coming to the next part, which is something unique for everybody. People say you need to carry extra clutch cables and extra throttle cables, extra something. But I would say instead of carrying it, why can't you attach there and then itself? So this is something not mine, but this practice is done at Dakar rallies. So what they usually do is they put extra clutch cables nearby to their wirings and all, and also the extra throttle cable. So for Himalayan there is no such space for throttle cable to come, because it has to come beneath the tank. So I am carrying that throttle cable beneath my seat itself. So this is the clutch cable which I have installed as extra. If I would face a problem, then I can simply attach there and then itself. Thing is fuses. So what will happen in Ladakh, whenever you are traveling in high altitudes, sometimes your bike may respond, sometimes your bike may not respond, and due to that inconsistency, what it will create some pressure into your electronics, and the circuits will be gone. So there is a slot for Himalayan to keep extra circuits, so you can buy additional 1 or 2 apart from those 2 or 3, so that you can keep each pair extra as well. Either you can use it for yourself, or it would be helpful for your fellow riders as well. So coming to the next issue, I would say Again, this is a common from every bike. So what I would like to tell is, on nowadays each and every bike has a new technology that if you remove the side stand, then only the engine will start. I don't want to tell this, but if you fell down somewhere, or like a rock got hit exactly to the stand and it got disconnected, or some kind of issue had happened and all, the stand is opened, but if you are trying to turn on the engine, then you will not be able to turn on it, because your bike says that your side stand is on, please remove it. But at that time there is a simple fuse,
So it is actually zip tightened. Beneath that there would be red color fuse, so that you need to disconnect.
So the next issue is related to tires. So most of the bikes have tube tires, most of the bikes have tubeless tires. So tube tires owners, for them it is actually. For tubeless tires, you have the freedom to go anywhere because your puncture fixes like this. For the tube tire riders, they know what kind of issue it is, because to fix a puncture, that to an heavyweight motorcycle, attached luggage onto it, and that's something different that one can experience already. So I faced a very bad situation while I was returning from Ladakh, because my tires were like gone, completely gone, and I faced a puncture at late night. Around 10:30 the puncture was happened, but I fixed the puncture at around 1 o'clock. There is a long story, but people have suggested, like popular YouTubers have suggested, that there are certain brands like Motul puncture spray something, and Formula X spray, a Formula X kit, so that puncture would be, so that you insert them and you will be like puncture free and all for the lifetime. So trust me guys, those things never work. The only thing which will work is the old school type, because you need to fix the puncture as it is. Any kind of liquid or any kind of gel or any kind of foam, so they will not help you out it anyways, trust me. I used Motul's puncture instant puncture kit or something else, but it has not worked for me as well on that day. I would suggest simply use a little bit of gum and a certain amounts of rubber gums, so that you can simply fix your puncture. And now, to fix a puncture, there are two ways. One thing, you can remove the tire out. The second way is that you can also keep the bike as it is, just you can remove the tube from the bike and you can just fix a puncture if you have the right equipment with you. So I also carry a rescue tire inflator, and I also carry the tubeless puncture kit, because if any fellow rider needs any help, then I would always love to help him. This is additional tip I would say. One is for puncture and one is for rope, because these two things can bring you out of any kind of trouble or any kind of issue that you are facing with your bike simply. So because with the rope, if anybody wants to help you, then he can tow you somewhere at least, because if you have air, if your bike does not start, then it can move, right? Somebody can tow you at least by pulling. Either a truck guy can tow you, or a tempo traveler guy can tow you, or a auto guy can tow you. So if you have something that, because you are the guy who needs to come out, not he or she who is coming to help you, because if you have that minimum kind of equipment with you, then they can help you out. So let's go to the next part, which is gear. I would say I will start from the top to bottom. The first thing is helmet. I have installed one pin lock sheet so that I can avoid from the fog. But trust me, that not even worked for a single ride for me, because there were a lot of scratches, and if you cannot clean your helmet inside, means from inside you cannot clean your visor, because if you clean, again you put some more scratches. And night time, trust me, you cannot see anything. Okay, so that's what the main problem is. So don't invest your money on pin locks and pin lock sheets and all, because what I will face is, because I already have specs, and while I was wearing a mask, because we always use balaclava or some other the mask while riding, right? So what the problem will happen, the first thing, my hot air, means the breath will come out and it will hit my lenses. First thing, the specs will be fogged up. The second thing is that again my helmet visor will also be fogged up. So even if I pull out the helmet, it may take, the visor would be cleaned out instantly, but it may take little amount of 2 or 3 seconds, means the fog should be gone from my lens. So that's a major critical problem. So what I usually do is I use a simple kind of tacket. you would know what is a tie kit, because it can be attached and it can be detached from any place. And on top of that, I will find anything nearby, like a tree branch or like any paper or any kind of, create a grip, a little amount of grip, so that the air would be going in and out, so that I will not face any kind of fogging issue. The second thing is riding jacket and riding pants. So this is something related to gears, because I don't want to tell you what kind of riding pants and what kind of riding gear, riding jackets are there, but I just wanted to tell you one of my experience. So I was simply riding in Ladakh. It was sunny, bright sunny day, and suddenly the climate got changed and it was raining instantly. I have rain liner, but I need to attach into my jacket. So imagine, I need to get down of the bike, I need to cover the luggage, because of course there are so many costly gears and all. I need to cover those, at least the tank bag at least, because that is the most important part of any riders. So after that, I need to cover myself. I need to remove my jacket. I need to pull inside the rain liner. So what I learned is that I simply use an external raincoat, which is a next size of mine, so that if a rain falls, then I can then simply remove and I can wear it. So I don't need that much time. The similar case would be happen for rain pants or rain gear as well. But for rain pants, what I would like to tell you is, imagine if you are wearing riding shoes, if you are on knee guards, or if you are on jeans, or if you are on riding pants, no matter what. But can you wear a raincoat, means rain pant there? Try it yourself, or you might have tried already, which is not going to work at all. So what I would like to tell you is, Espida have a rain pant. So I made a copy like that, so which is like 2 size beyond my rain pant. But what I did, I went to a nearby Rexin shop who stitches leather and Rexin kind of materials. So I asked him to cut this particular thing, and I have given this kind of rain pant as an example. Then he simply did that. Now it will take me around 30 seconds to wear a rain pant, or 15 seconds to wear a rain pant. So I don't need to remove my shoes, then I don't need to remove my anything, I don't need to bother, because if I wear like that, either I will be on the ground or I will tear off the rain pant. So that is what the common issue everybody will face. So this is something I have learned from the past, but this is something I have copied as well, because I copied it from the Aspida brand. Now I own an Aspida riding pant only, so that's not a big deal here. Okay. So coming to shoes part, I have divided this into 2 parts. So imagine if you already have waterproof shoes. Imagine if you don't have any shoes. Okay. So Ladakh is something different, which has huge water crossings. Even these shoes are 100% waterproof. If the water goes, I will show you an B-roll, I cannot show you here. If the water goes from particularly this area, then there is no chance of any shoe in this world that it will survive. The water will go into your foot and your toes, everything will be gone wet, and your feet would be numb, totally numb. That experience please never face, because your entire ride would be ruined off, and the only thing you will be doing is removing all those water on the entire ride, like what I did in my earlier. So what I learned from this past experience is, one of my friends were using this, but I have not opted for that. In Decathlon or Decathlon, what you want to call it, there is something skis would be using it, which is called gaiters. Okay. So what that thing will do is, that will cover up your foot until your knee, so that there is no chance of water going inside your foot, inside your shoes or something else. If you don't have any shoes, so then you can go with Orazo shoes. They are good in state. You go with the full one, that will help you out. And on top of that, if you have a raincoat, then you can do it, because we did so many fixes, like wrapping our foot wrap and all those things. We did lots of jazz, but nothing got worked at that time, and everything is like waste of money. And keep in mind, I have not thrown those plastic, and I have bought it with me up till Bangalore. Okay. So the next thing comes gloves. What I would say, I have bought some gloves on Ladakh. So at that time I was using like basic Rhinox gloves, which was built with cloth. It was like okay, but nothing it can stop me with the rain or something. If once the gloves were wet and your fingers would be like completely numb because of that cold weather and all. I have bought these kind of gloves in Ladakh. They costed me around 300 rupees. They are not completely waterproof, but they are water resistant, I would say. So these gloves would be helpful because they are helpful in two ways. One, you can beat the cold, and the other thing, you can survive a little bit from the rain, not heavy rain, okay? Or on top of that, if you are feeling cold, then you can use these Decathlon's skin kind of gloves, which are 99 rupees or something else. They are like very thin, but they do a normal job. Okay, this is what I said is for gears. So now let's move for the safety part. Safety in the sense, I would say your safety. Whenever you're traveling inside Ladakh or Spiti or anywhere, you directly don't remove your helmet and stand out or expose your body directly to the air. Just give your body to settle there for 1 or 2 minutes, then remove your helmet. After removing helmet, don't completely expose your body to that cold air which may hit your bones. That cold is not good for bones actually. So keep in mind that thing. The next thing is, and one more thing what I would like to tell is, while you are riding in cold weathers, your fingers, means the skin would be coming out here. So there is something called paper tape, which would be like available in any medical store or complex. You can go and you can buy one, which would hardly cost you around 5 rupees or some 10 rupees. Then you can wrap it up with your fingers there. So that would be very helpful, because you need to wear gloves all the day, and they will be like rubbing all the time, and you will be feeling irritated. And all the best for your Ladakh. And keep in mind, you always need to be medically fit, as well as you need to have that confidence that you can go and you can easily achieve Ladakh. It's not a big deal, and ride carefully. That's it for now. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, then you can do all those YouTube things. Thank you.